First of all, when I make a video and you see me laying down like this, it's because the Lord spoke to me, and I don't even want to make a video right now. But the Lord said, here's what he said. Pastor Rodney's trying to raise up 300 millionaires. And what happens is when people get money, they become more powerful. And if you weren't trying to raise those people up in the church, Pastor Rodney, God might just let you do whatever you want to do. But no, you're trying to raise those people up in the church. You're trying to raise up devil seed in the church that's going to get powerful in the church. God says, no way. God says, no way. God's about to open up the heavenly armies full scale against you, Pastor Rodney, and all your little love of money 300 millionaires or wannabe millionaires. God's about to rip you guys all to shreds. And the Lord showed me what's going on. Pastor Rodney doesn't want to do what God said to do. Pastor Rodney doesn't want to obey God. And then he wants to raise up a bunch of disciples in the church that are just like him. Exploiting God's people. A bunch of weeds that are just going to be there just to choke out the wheat. So all of those guys who want to be millionaires, those are all the weeds in the church. Adonica, take note. All those guys who are pushing to be millionaires, all those guys who are, I want to say they celebrate and rejoice whenever it's time to burn incense to other gods. Those are the devils in the church. And if they get powerful and they get a bunch of money, they're going to destroy everything. They have the potential to completely crush every good Christian in the church. And the Lord spoke to me and told me he doesn't have a problem with a guy like Timothy Eusta gaining wealth because Timothy is a good kid. But you give a bunch of money to a bunch of demonic, evil people who are only there. They only go to the River Church because they want to get a new car or cash prizes or a millionaire. Imagine all the scoundrels out there in Tampa find out, oh, there's a pastor over at this church raising up millionaires. Oh, I don't even believe in God, but hey, I might as well go. Might as well try. Pretend to be a Christian and go to church. I'm just saying. People, unbelievers, people who are worse than Pastor Rodney. You know what the Lord told me? That if Pastor Rodney doesn't get his way from Eric Gagnon, he'll kick Eric Gagnon to the curb. If Eric Gagnon doesn't continue to be the perfect servant and do everything Pastor Rodney says, when he says it, the way he says right now, this way, and not only that, will he kick Eric Gagnon to the curb, but the way Pastor Rodney wants to live, you know how he wants to live? He wants to outcompete. He wants to compete with Kenneth Copeland and Joel Osteen to have a bigger, better jet, a bigger, better ministry, a bigger, better this, a bigger, better that. He wants to be bigger and better than everyone. He wants to have a steak dinner when he snaps his fingers. He wants to snap his fingers, have a steak dinner, and then get up from the table and just walk away and have somebody else clean up after him. He wants to be able to throw his laundry at whoever and come back 2 hours later and it's perfectly clean, perfectly folded, everything's ready. He wants to walk around like a perfect... He wants people to do everything for him, and then all he does is sit on the toilet and probably won't even wipe his own butt. He'll probably clap his hands and expect Eric Gagnon to come and do it for him. And if Eric Gagnon's not doing it, he'll have one of the millionaires come and do it for him. And what he doesn't understand, what Pastor Rodney doesn't understand, is as soon as each one of those millionaires gets too powerful for you, Pastor, they'll overtake you and kick you to the curb, Pastor. So you're raising up a group of people who will destroy you when they get the power to, when they're powerful enough. In other words, you raise up one of these millionaires, and if one of them becomes a billionaire and you think you have authority over him, he's going to say, I'm going to put your church in some sort of financial predicament, and I'm going to mortgage you out and leverage you out of that church, and you'll have one of your own millionaire disciples come against you. And you won't have the financial strength to defeat him. I'm just saying, Pastor Rodney's the stupidest person right now. He's just dumb, and he's of the devil, and he's got a devil face. So you guys over there at the river need to start opposing every single person that's trying to become one of those 300 millionaires, because those are people who are hand-selected by Satan himself. That's right. By the devil, not including Timothy Eusta. A guy like Timothy he's already there. God bless Timothy Eusta. Timothy is good seed. That's a good kid right there. God said, I'll give him everything. And then I'll take him away from Pastor Rodney. You know why? Because Pastor Rodney's not worthy of Eric Gagnon or Adonica. And if I went to his church, he'd try to turn me into some sort of robot that does his will. And I wouldn't have any revelation. I wouldn't have a close relationship with God. I'd be running around the church trying to get promoted so that someday I could get the microphone to preach. I'm just saying, that's the way. And then Pastor Rodney would use the microphone as some sort of little bait, some sort of little ploy to get me to do his will. And then by the time I finally would get the microphone, I'd be so bound up in the things of this world, I wouldn't have any sort of prophecy left. Just saying, he's of the devil. Pastor Rodney's satanic. Oh, and by the way, God told me he's about to raise up. I saw Archangel Michael and he's pissed. He's the only reason Pastor Rodney's able to go, everybody needs to fast. That's all it is. The minute Adonica, when you start obeying God and fasting the way you're supposed to be, and Eric Gagnon, you guys will see everything change, okay? I was supposed to fast a few days ago, and I kind of said no, and then I found myself eating, and then I thought, oh, I guess I'm not fasting. And then the Lord woke me up today and said, no, you're supposed to be fasting. And so now when I start fasting, it's Sunday morning, Pastor Rodney, and I just started fasting. Watch what happens to you all day long today and tomorrow, because I know you and your 300 millionaires are witchcrafting me, because you see me as the person who's preventing you from becoming millionaires. All your little minions. And you're going to your little minions and telling them, if this guy keeps doing this, I won't have this financial strength to raise all you guys up. So there's a bunch of little wicked wannabe millionaires in the River Tampa Bay Church who think their hearts are right with God, and they think they're Christians too. Like Pastor Rodney thinks. He thinks his heart's right with God. He thinks he's saved. Bro, you are not a child of God, Pastor Rodney. It's hard for you to accept that fact, I know. Pastor Rodney's, you're not going to heaven, bro. He thinks he's going to heaven still. He still can look at a video of himself looking just like Satan. He could compare himself to all the scriptures that say that he's of the devil and he's a prophet in the order of Balaam and Balak, and he's still loco in the head, thinks he's going to heaven. Oh, Pastor Rodney, you are not going to heaven, and none of your 300 millionaires are going to heaven either. And Adonica better get off her duff and start fasting and start attaining to a greater resurrection, or gosh, she's going to be stuck with you for the rest of her living days. The same with Eric. All those people at the river who really do serve God, you need to get off your duff and start fasting. You got a bunch of tummies over there. I swear.